We've got a major warning from Elon Musk, and it does have to do with the silver and gold market. But first, let's talk about $450 silver, possibly even higher. Are we underpricing ourselves, guys? I know yesterday was terrible. We're going to talk about that and talk about why maybe, right, us basement dwellers, us here together this morning, why maybe yesterday wasn't so terrible for the silver market. But first, thank you for being here. Thank you for being part of the basement dwellers, if that's how you choose to refer to yourselves. Whenever you call yourself, you're welcome here. Thank you. Please subscribe to the channel, give the video a thumbs up, super chat, super thanks are always super appreciated. Let's get into some big news about silver from an Irishman and right? The guy who I think is the crown prince, the king of precious metals, Rick Rule. Let's dive right into what we're always being mistaken, right? We always think that like, oh, silver, what's the gold to silver ratio right now? 80 to 1 roughly. It's gotten as high as 90 to 1. Can you believe that? 90 ounces of this, right? That came from our friend Jake from Jake's Custom Parts. 90 ounces of silver to get 1 ounce of gold. It's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Would you agree with that? I don't think anyone would not agree with that. However, if we look back over history, I'm telling you, the Peloponnesians, they were really ticked off. But what does that have to do with the silver price today? I'm going to tell you because our friend in Ireland, Mr. Pierce, sent some unbelievable research. Let's dig into this first and look at this gold to silver ratio throughout history. Look, make gold great again. One of my favorite people out there on X put this out there. Today, we mine silver at 7 ounces of silver come out of the ground for each 1 ounce of gold. And then, well, it becomes historically embarrassing. But guess what? Mr. P over in Ireland is gonna take is going to challenge what Make Gold Great Again says here. And it's good for you as a silver, good for us, not you, us as silver and gold investors. Let's go take a look though at this historical chart. Isn't this funny? All right. 1 to 3, 1 to 9 in Egypt, 1 to 2. This is the historical gold to silver ratio. Back when Plato, remember Plato when he was around? Right? It took 12 ounces of silver, only 12. Today it takes 80 roughly ounces of silver to get 1 ounce of gold. In England, it was 11 to 1, not that long ago. About 800 years ago, 824 years ago, I think to be exact. Look down to the lower left, Italy, 1 to 8. China in the year 1400, 624 years ago. They had it right. It took 7 ounces of silver to get 1 ounce of gold. And then we go all the way down here to the bottom right. Okay. Clown world. That's where we live today. 1 ounce of gold will cost you 91 ounces of silver. But even more recently, right, in the 1600s, it was 12 to 1. Even in the 1700s, it was 15 to 1. Now, what's fascinating about this is if we look at what is going on right now, and again, we got a good friend over in Ireland, okay? Mr. P sent me this fascinating piece of research that he did. He says silver is not mined at 7 or 8 to 1 anymore. And I often say, you guys know when we're down here talking in the basement, I'll say there's like 7, 8, maybe 10 to be conservative ounces of silver for each 1 ounce of gold. And Mr. P took me to the carpet on this one. He points out silver mined in 2024 is calculated by the Silver Institute to contract by 1%. So we're talking about 823 million ounces. This equates to 23,346 metric tons. So that's how much silver is being mined this year. Wait till you hear this, guys. In 2024, forecast for mined gold, however, is expected by the World Gold Council to increase by 4% over 2023 to almost 3,800 tons. Let me make sure I got you on the right screen. I do. Okay, so this year, roughly 23,000 metric tons of silver will be mined for, and gold, there will be 3,800. So it's easy to figure out this ratio. So what's the mined silver to gold ratio? Well, you divide the 23,000 tons of silver by the almost 4,000 tons of gold, and you get 6.16 to 1. And he points out as silver ore grades fall, the ratio will soon be under 6. So based on his research, we're looking at just 6 ounces of silver being produced for each 1 ounce of gold. And remember, silver is still a monetary metal, right? We talked about this. It's the schizophrenic metal. It's half monetary, half industrial. But what makes it even more incredulous is this idea that half of that silver, half of those 6 ounces of silver that are being mined, right, for each 1 ounce of gold, 3 of those ounces of silver are being consumed. We don't even know how much the military consumes, but we know that solar panels, electronics, you know that whole story. Now, he does put on this important note. The World Gold Council shows tonnies? How do you pronounce that? I don't know. In their chart labels, and this spelling is normal, conventional, reflects metric tons or 1,000 kilograms. If the charts use tons, which is what I think we use in the US and England, this could equals to US tons or even imperial UK tons, and the calculation would be quite different. At US tons, it would be, but it would still be less than 7 to 1. So how do we get to $450 silver? Guys, real simple, okay? If you take today's, and let's go check. Hey, what do you say? Let's do an update. Let's go check the silver and gold price, see how things are going, and see how we calculate $450 silver. This is not updated, so everybody take a deep breath. See that little gold triangle there? That's the Pimbex magic button. We're going to get an update, and okay, silver's up 19 cents. Boy, it's moving all over the place. $33.87. Come on, silver. We need you to go up. We do not want a red number by the end of this video live stream. We will come back. But if you take gold at $2,700 and divide it by 6, that would be a 6 to 1, right? Gold to silver ratio. The price of silver would be at $450. Even if you take that $2,700 and divide it by 7, okay, the more conservative estimate, right? And that's shrinking, by the way. It's heading to 6, but nonetheless, you get $385 to get a 7 to 1 gold to silver ratio, right? The conservative estimate of how much gold is being mined relative to today, right now, how much silver is being mined. And don't forget that silver is being consumed. But what does Rick Rule? I was listening to Rick Rule last night. He said some things. This is critical for us to remember about silver. And the reason why is that there are so many unbelievable, like just unfathomable factors supporting the silver price right now. And a lot of these guys that are both into all the precious metals are saying that silver is just incredibly undervalued right now. There's still, even today, right? Even today. Now, reminder, 75% of silver is a byproduct of copper mining. Remember this, though. The new copper deposits in the world, copper is becoming very popular, right? There's hardly any pure silver mines out there in the world. There are some, no doubt about it, but 75%, think about that, of the silver, right? 75% of this ounce came as a byproduct, an afterthought, right, from copper mining. But the reason that's important to remember is because the new copper mines that are being developed in the world, the new copper deposits that are being found, I heard Ross Beatty say this. He's another one of the royalty of the silver and gold world. Ross Beatty said that the new copper deposits don't have as much silver because they're deeper, right? The easy to get copper had a lot of silver that existed with it. So it was this great byproduct. The new copper is deeper. And guess what, Buttercup? There's not as much silver with it. Okay, that's important because 5-10 years from now, right, when we know what's going to happen with silver, 75% of the supply that's coming from byproducts, it's a byproduct from other mining. It's not going to go away completely. I'm not saying that. No, we're not living in fantasy world. Everybody else is. I'll show you a fantasy world. Welcome to Fantasy Island. Okay. Yeah. right? But we're going to have more and more constriction on the silver supply. Now, Rick Rule said some other things that are very great as well. But I got to tell you, we got a special guest today. I've thought about this morning. Does this happen to you? I seem to have my best thoughts when I'm getting out of the shower. I don't know why. My mom always said, take a shower every day, right? And you know what? It's true. I never regret. Anyway, I was thinking this morning, I got a special guest on this live stream today. Okay. You know who that is? You know who that's? It's you. Thank you for being here. Now, back to silver. Basement dweller, back to silver. Okay, here. People don't take into account, Rick Rule said this, people don't take into account history when they think about the silver prices. Okay, we just went over the historic gold to silver ratio. Where we are now is insane. Okay, enough of that, cut. But that's one example of history. The other example that Rick Rule pointed out was the 70s. Silver went from $1.50 to $50 per ounce. And I'm telling you guys, why is that important? That's super important, because where we are right now is not only very similar to the 1970s, and I can say that because I was born in 1970. I remember the 70s. Not only are things similar right now, maybe disco is going to come back. Who knows? No, seriously, on a fiscal, monetary, geopolitical level, things are very similar right now to the 1970s. Okay, that's key. But on top of that, guess what? Things are even worse now. We've got more debt to GDP. We got more geopolitical. Things are worse right now. We got worse stagflation coming our way and inflation. So when you think about the 1970s, when silver went from $1.50 all the way to 50, right? Went up, I don't know. I think I've done the math before. Whatever it is, somebody can do that. Divide 50 by $1.50. It's at least probably, is it almost 30? It's great. Yeah. Anyway, silver went up big time. Let's just say that. And we're in a more, but then he also points out 2001 to 2011, right? People forget about history when it comes to that. Wasn't that long ago. Now, I definitely remember that, right? I remember when the tech bubble burst, all those people that bought pets.com and all those crazy stocks that were wound up being worth nothing. Maybe kind of like what's going on right now with parts of the tech sector, but we won't go there. This is history lesson from 2001 to 2011. Silver went from under $5 to again over $50, right? Those 2 points. Remember, those are the 2 high points on the cup and handle. Okay, so people don't talk about history, but Rick Rule, and he loves to bring this up, and I love when he brings it up because it's music to our sweet ears, right? We love to hear this. Nor do they take into account the minuscule amount of money invested in precious metals, right? 0.5%, not 1%, Buttercup. Nope, not even one out of $100. 50 cents out of every $100 in the world, in the West, right, are invested into precious metals and precious metals oriented investments. Okay. The historic mean, if I remember what Rick Rule says, is around, I hear different numbers, but he says around 2%. That alone, just to get back, not to have a bubble, not to have a mania, just to get back to the long-term average of 2%. That would mean 4 times the amount of money coming into, hey, thank you, Don. Good to see you. Thank you for the super chat. Super chats really touch me. Thank you, Don. Help support the family. Help Susie get to buy sodas when we go out to eat, which is about once every 4.5 weeks. Thank you. I appreciate that. All right. Now. Okay, so that's Rick Rule. Quick review, okay? People don't take history into account. The gold to silver ratio. What happened in the 70s? What happened from the early 2000s? I almost forgot this. Inflation adjusted. Okay. If we adjusted those past $50 highs in silver, inflation adjusted, right? The new high for silver that we're going to be, if we adjust, is going to be over $100. Okay. So buckle up, Buttercup. What about the silver miners? Let's just take a look at that, because this shows us that we really have not yet seen money coming back into the sector. This is from our friend Grady, Commodities TA Super. The silver miner ETF, okay, that tracks all the silver miners, is breaking out hugely. He said they bought at the lows. I guess he has some kind of service, but let's look at this chart, okay? This goes all the way back to 2011. Look how high the silver miners were. The silver miner ETF got up to around $80. It got all the way down to 20 earlier in this year. And now, guys, and there's that big blue downtrend line. Now it is breaking out. And that will bring much, much more interest, much more attention to the silver market. When these silver miners, when they move, buckle up, Buttercup. I'm not joking. They've started to move. Who knows? Maybe they'll pull the rug on us again. But when they'll go up 2, 3, 4, 5 times. Don't make any financial decisions based on anything I'm saying. I'm just telling you about history. And historically, the silver miners can explode. Okay. All the miners are due to explode. Okay. But again, I'm not giving financial advice, and I will tell you I eat my own cooking. I own a lot of precious metal mining stocks. I own silver and precious metal mining stocks. I own one here that happens to sponsor the channel, First Mining Gold. They're a gold developer with 2 multi-million ounce projects in Canada. I own Fortuna Mining. They're a gold and silver mining company. They're actively mining. They have operations in Latin America, silver and gold, and West Africa. You can learn more about each of those companies at their respective websites. I'm not giving financial advice, but I do personally own both those stocks. I'm never going to be sponsored by a company that I don't either do business with or that I own, right? Okay, so if those stocks go down, and they can, stocks are risky, okay, and they can go up, which is fun. But they can go down, which is not too fun. You can rest assured, right? I'm right there with all the other stockholders, either happy or sad. I love that saying. I eat my own cooking. Welcome to Ron's Restaurant, Ron Burgers. By the way, you can ask Susie in the chat. I make the best hamburgers in St. Louis and ribs, but I digress. My cooking channel has yet to take off. Or my precious metals channel. No, we're going crazy. We got 800 people in the basement. Woohoo! Thank you for being here, guys. Let's ring the bell early. All right. That's for you, Jake. I hope you feel better. Jake from Jake's Custom Parts. Thank you to all the moderators. We got a great team of people that moderate. Jake from Jake's Custom Parts, Annie Oakley, and Big Ten the Silvershire, and of course, the lovely and talented Susie, Silver Susie, who I happen to be have the privilege of being married to for almost 20 years. Now, where was I? Oh, yesterday was horrible. Let's talk about, and we're going to talk about the price of silver. It got clobbered. It was the dollar. We talked about that. Hold on here. It was consolidate. That's right. It was consolidation. Let's go look again at Pimbex and see. We were up so good this morning. I tell you what, they love to play with our heads, don't they, guys? Come on, silver. Okay, we're up 24 cents. That's better than being up 19 cents. But yesterday was consolidation day. Think about all the people silver really shot up. So it was normal to come back. Man, and even though we know that, isn't it hard to deal with, like down $1? It just kind of breaks my little heart temporarily, right? Knowing, though, that as long as we stay above 32.50, that's the key. And we're going to look at our friend Jesse Colombo and see what he has to say. And then there's something very interesting about the silver price and Europe and the euro, which I'd never, ever, ever heard of or thought of before. But Jesse has this excellent, he has a Substack, the Bubble Report. This guy is growing like crazy. Here's what to watch for after silver's big breakout. Silver's 7% surge on Friday signaled the start of the next leg in the bull market. Now what? Well, we want to know, Jesse. And he's going to give us the reasons why and examples of what we need to watch at. Here's what you should watch closely moving forward, okay? So he talks about, we'll just read this first paragraph and then we'll go into the yellow because that's really important. But silver broke through key technical levels. I've been monitoring and writing about he put out reports on the upcoming silver bull market and why it would likely evolve into a silver squeeze. And we haven't had that yet, guys. We have not had this silver squeeze yet. This is so, I'm going to give you the reason why. Then we'll get back to Jesse. No more Ronnie, all Jesse. The reason why it's so important. We have this massive silver short position on the COMEX and the LBMA, paper shorts, whatever you want to call it, but it's like somewhere between 300 million and 600 million ounces that are going to need to be bought back at some point. And we haven't had that. We haven't had the silver squeeze yet. It's like you got that in your back pocket. The silver price has that in their back. The silver price has two key things in its back pocket. Number one is the silver squeeze that could result from the big short position that needs to be covered. You know what else they have in their back pocket? Western investors coming back, right? People starting to buy the SLV ETF, although I don't like it. I don't agree with it, but nonetheless, that will create more demand for physical silver that the world silver suppliers just can't meet. There's one thing that fixes it. Do you know what the one thing is that fixes the silver shortage, the silver squeeze? Only one thing, Buttercup. It starts with P, price. When the price gets so high. So here's and then I get back to this article, but here's what's so exciting. If we get the $45 silver and we still haven't had the short squeeze yet, we haven't had the shorts needing to cover those 300 to 600 million ounces, that'll be when the short squeeze kicks in. When we naturally grow up to, and that's what was so great about yesterday's $1 down day, right? We went up, you come back, you retest, and then you go back. When we get to $45 and they press the silver short squeeze turbo button, that's when you wake up one day and you're like, holy moly. And there's limits on how much it can go up. I know that. But in the matter of a short period of time, we go from $45 silver to $84 silver. Yeah, you heard that right, Buttercup. And then we get to $450, like my title of this video said. Those are numbers. I'm sorry I yelled at you. I apologize. Those are numbers. Numbers. Mathematic calculations. It works. $450 silver. It works. I know it seems absurd, but think about it, right? Silver went from Silver Surfer. Thank you. Silver went from $1.50 to $50 per ounce, right? And people say that about gold during that 1970s period. Like, well, you couldn't own gold till 1975, so it was the market rebound. Okay, that's great. That wasn't the case with silver. So yes, it can happen. Yes, it will be joyous. Yes, Silver Surfer. And then we're going to get back to Jesse because this guy's got something very interesting to say about silver and the euro that we've never talked about. Never, right? Not a repeater. Never. Okay, Silver Surfer says, I've tracked consumer prices from 1969. In 1970, rent on a 3-bedroom house was $100 a month. And a DQ hamburger, I like DQ hamburgers, not as good as my burgers, you can ask Susie, was 15 cents. Hence, 15 times $50 silver is good. Yeah, we love it. And that was the other thing. Rick Rule said this yesterday as well, that in the 70s, I didn't know this. Well, you know what? In the 70s, the dollar lost 75% of its purchasing power. Thank you, Silver Surfer. Guys, go check him out. Okay. He's a great guy, a great contributor to the YouTube Silver and Gold community. Back to Jesse. Man, I got sidetracked. I owe you an apology. You guys, you are my special guest. Okay. Key factors. Okay. In this update, I'll highlight several key factors that everyone should watch to track silver's progress. Confirm the ongoing validity of this breakout and identify important price targets to keep an eye on. This is the interesting yellow. It's all interesting, but the yellow is what we're going to talk about. Let's start with the most rudimentary chart of all. We like rudimentary. Spot silver price in US dollars. As you may know, I've been emphasizing the importance of the $32.50 level for months, stating that silver's bull market would be triggered once it decisively closed above it with strong volume. On Friday, silver knocked it out of the park with a 7% surge on volume. Okay, 7% surge above 32.50 with volume that was 50% above the average of the prior week. Checkity, check. We're checking all the boxes. Now, silver has broken above that level. It is in a confirmed uptrend. This was yesterday. This is the pullback. Today's 3.33 that was perfect. All threes. Percent pullback doesn't worry me as silver remains above 32.50. That's what we've been saying too, which is now support or a floor you can think of. Because guess what? There's a lot of people out there that are thinking, uh-oh, I missed the silver train. If it gets back to $32, I'm buying. Okay. Sophisticated investors, general investors like us all over the place. After such a sharp surge, a pullback is normal and expected. We may see continued bouncing around for a few more days before silver is ready to head higher. Okay. So there's the picture. All right, we've seen this a zillion times, but we'll look at it, right? There's that $32. That was resistance. We couldn't get through it, but now, oh Lordy, okay. Yes. Thank you. Now we've broken through. And is this not, I got to draw a picture. This is so much fun. Let's get the Crayolas out, because when you see this, Buttercup, you're going to be happier than you already are right now. What color shall we do today? How about we do neon green? Okay. This, in my book, as a basement technical analyst, is an upside down. Think of somebody standing on their head. Okay, here's the shoulder, there's the head, here's the shoulder, and that is a very, very powerful chart pattern. Okay, you got the cup and handle. Remember, I'll draw that. That's not on here, but the cup and the handle, which we're about right there. When that breaks out, that's when we go to $6 million silver. What does that look like to you? Use your imagination and don't say anything dirty in the comments. What does this look like? This is somebody standing on their heads. Those are both very powerful chart patterns. Okay, I digress. Let's get out of there. Okay, there's something in here about the euro. Oh, here it is, Ron. Okay. We're going to highlight that. What color you guys want? You know, orange is my favorite color, and it'll kind of match to this thing that tells me I can get a paid subscription. But hold on here. 2% bull highlighter. We're going to go with orange. Okay. The other key level I've been discussing for months, I've never heard of this, is the 30 euro. That's the price of silver in euros. When silver is priced in euros, I closely monitor silver priced in euros, and this is the reason why this is important, guys, because this approach removes the impact of the U.S. dollar fluctuations. Think about that. The silver price priced in unicorn fart dust fiat dollars, right, is affected by dollar price fluctuations. Same thing with the euro. The euros but that's the other currency, so we need to keep an eye on that to see that it stays above key levels priced in other currencies, such as the euro, offering a clearer view of silver's intrinsic strength or weakness. Notably, silver priced in euros often respects round numbers, like 26, 27, or 28 euros, frequently establishing key support and resistance levels at these points. On Friday, what happened to silver in euros? Silver surged above the 30 euro level with gusto. I like that word, Jesse. And the level is now the new floor. As long as silver stays above 30 euros, it can fluctuate all she wants, or he, however you decide to assign gender to silver. I won't be concerned. Okay, so let's go out and check. This is the price of silver in euros. See right here, 31 euros and 31, what do they call them? Mini euros? Cents? I don't know. What do they call the things below a euro? Euro cents? I don't know. Anyway, 31 euros and 32 euroettes. 31.32. We are above, okay, in euros and nicely above in euros as well. So, you know, the price yesterday, whatever, it stunk. I almost used a bad word. That would have not been good. But the reality is, technically, we are still in great shape. We need to, I'm going to say it one more time for us. We will be very sad. I may shed a tear. Right? Look, you're like me. You love your family. You love your friends, health, all that's most important. But then there's silver. If silver gets below $32.50, I may need some help. I may need some emotional support because I am so pumped up. I think Jesse is too. I know Chris Marcus at Arcadia Economics. By the way, Chris Marcus at Arcadia has a new Substack as well. I got links to it in the description of this video, but everybody's so excited about silver. $32.50. Remember that number. That is key. Let's go check out, see what, hey, it's time to head east. What do you say, basement dwellers? You want to go on a trip? Let's go on a trip to the east first. Let's go check out Pimbex and get an update on the silver price. Come on, baby. I'm nervous, guys. I'm going to press the yellow Pimbex magic button here, and oh, looks like we're even on silver. Okay. Now, if you could get silver right now a little bit less expensive than we would have paid at the beginning of this live stream video. Make sure I got you on there, and I do. I want to say thank you to channel sponsor Pimbex, Pimbex. They make this possible, guys. Look, gold, silver, platinum group. No matter what you choose, you're going to find ultra competitive pricing. But what I really like about it is Pimbex is a one-stop shop. When I buy metals from Pimbex, I know I don't have to search around, spend countless hours comparing prices, reading, and then if I find a great price, some company I've never heard of, I got to read reviews. With Pimbex, to me, it's easy, it's simple. I know I'm getting ultra competitive pricing, great selection, in a company that I know I can trust because I've done 5 or 6 big transactions with them, to me big, and everything has gone off without a hitch. And I know also because of the overwhelming positive response emails I've gotten from all the basement dweller community that you guys are as well. And that makes me feel great about having Pimbex as a sponsor and supporting our community, getting more metal right in the hands of the silver, gold, platinum group metal stacking community. And please, I try not to say this every day, but if you or somebody you care about or love, right? You care, there's people, right? Yeah. If they're ever going to convert in an IRA, part or all of an IRA into precious metals, take your time, shop around. There's a lot of big celebrity endorsed companies out there. I'm not going to bash anybody, but what I will tell you is be very, very careful. There's no such thing as free $15,000 worth of silver, which I've seen some of these companies, 10,000. It's not free. It's coming out of your money. Okay. So take your time. If you ever go to convert an IRA, talk to a lot of different sources. At the end of the day, what you want to do, say you're going to convert 40,000 into silver and gold. Compare how many actual ounces of silver and gold all your different options are going to get you for that amount of money, and then make an educated decision. Please do yourself a favor if you do that, and at least consider Pimbex. Talk to the brothers, Mike and Brian at Pimbex. I think you'll be shocked at what they can do for you. Okay, where are we now? Elon Musk. Did we get through all that? Yes, and we'll talk about bricks here in a little bit. Elon Musk gave a big, major warning. Guys, this is huge because this is what will drive the precious metals price through the end of the year, period. It's inflation, but let's see what Elon Musk issued a major warning about, because things are getting very, very serious. Okay, Elon says right here, this is a crisis, and that is this. The U.S. national debt increased by almost $500 billion over the last 3 weeks alone. It now stands, we know that, $35.8 trillion. That's $103,700 of debt for every American. This is unsustainable. America is in the fast lane to bankruptcy. Okay, I did some math, and just in the last 3 weeks alone, each American is now saddled with an additional $1,400 in debt. Okay, this is not a good situation. I want to say this about Elon Musk. Love him or hate him, this is not a political show, but at least that's the one person right now who is politically involved who is sounding the alarm about the fact that we have a debt situation in this country, which is leading us to ruin. Let's all have a quick sip of coffee. And the reason why is because eventually we have the Minsky moment. Guys, who else? Right? Paul Tudor Jones. You probably never heard of him, right? He's like Paul Tudor Jones is like the most unknown guru of the financial world of anybody. You can Google him later. Super smart guy. He was on CNBC. Listen to what he had to say and what he had to say about silver and gold, because it's very, very interesting. Okay. Pro. No, I don't want pro. To keep asking me, I want to be a pro. CNBC. Paul Tudor Jones says the market reckoning on spending is coming after the election. We are going to be broke. Americans, my fellow Americans, we are broke. Okay. As a country, maybe not you as an individual. Hopefully you've taken some steps to protect yourself, but what, the founder, chief investment officer of Tudor Investment said he was worried that government spending could cause a big sell-off in the bond market, spiking interest rates. What all this means, guys, is when this financial poop show, excuse my language, comes undone, it is going to wreak havoc in the paper, electronic, financial markets. It is going to be ugly. He said he plans to not own fixed income, that would be U.S. Treasury bonds, and will be betting against the long-dated part of the bond market. He says, quote, we will have a Minsky moment where all of a sudden there's a point of recognition that what they're talking about is fiscally impossible, financially impossible. What these politicians are talking about doing is impossible. Okay. Now he talks about gold as well. All right. But let's just for fun, make sure that everything's still in line here. Here we are. U.S. national debt. Okay. Well, yesterday it was 777 billion. Today it's 35,780 billion. But again, we've been keeping track of this, right? The dollar to silver ratio continues to go up. Continues. Here, let's go out and just take a look. What is the date today? I put this together for you guys. Hold on here. We got a little chart. Here it is. Okay, the dollar to silver ratio. So today's the 24th. On the 21st, which would have been Monday, we were at 729. Let's go see where we are today, and let's update our chart, because this measures dollar to silver right there. See my yellow? For those of you, the yellow circle, woo, it's orbiting, going into outer space like this ratio is. The dollar to silver ratio is now at 741. That means for each 1 ounce of silver that's being produced in the world, each 1 ounce of silver being produced in the world this year, for that one little measly ounce, okay, there are 741 US dollars being created through the US money supply. Maybe this will make it a little more clear to you. For each one of these, 1 ounce, that's a 1 ounce piece of silver, there are 741 of these being created. Okay, let's go out and update our spreadsheet, because we want to keep track of this. We're having so much fun. Tab, shift, 741. In real time, guys, we are on top of it. Okay, where was I? Oh, yeah, Paulson. Let's just see did I highlight anything here? The question is, after the election, will we have a Minsky moment here in the United States, in the U.S. debt markets? Will we have a Minsky moment where all of a sudden there's this realization, we're out of money, we're out of money. It'd be like if you, right, just racked up every piece of debt that you possibly could, right? Everything. Credit cards, home loans, home equity loans, buy now, pay later, car loans, I don't know, grocery store, layaway, and then all of a sudden you're at dinner with your wife, you're like, you know what? It's over. We can't do it. And that's what he's talking about. Now, what he also said, because I watched the interview, he says neither of the presidential candidates are addressing this. And this is good. Why is that not good? It's not good at all. But since it's the reality of the situation, it's important. Why is it important for us, right? Basement dwellers, buttercups, whatever we want to call ourselves, to realize what this means for our future, because it is scary, super scary. Okay. But that it's the reason why you hold physical silver, why maybe you hold physical gold, maybe the reason why, because baby, the wheels are going to come off the financial bus. And let me give you a quick visual. All right. We only try to bring him out now about once every 3 days, but this guy is going to have one option, and it's this, right? More paper money. Look at that. Thank you, Don Indris. Wait till you see what Don sent me later in this video. I think it's one of the funniest things. I don't know why I get a kick out of this, but we're going to share it with you in a minute. Inflation is the only way civilization ever. This is what Paul Tudor Jones says. Inflation is the only way. Remember, we talked about the history of the gold to silver ratio at the beginning of this live stream video, how crazy it is now. But the other thing that we know as a fact, guys, it's critical that we understand this, okay? Because of recency bias. Since you've been alive, since I've been alive, we've never really had a real big financial reset. That's the fact. We had the great financial crisis, we had the tech bubble, we had the C-19 deal, but we've never really had a big financial reset, okay? Period. And it's so important. Right. And the reason why it's so important that we realize that these things do still happen, we've not entered a new reality. We're still living on Earth, baby. We're still orbiting the sun, right? The reason why it's so important is because if we just look back at history, these resets do happen. Okay. And the only way that countries have ever, okay, this is the reality of history, is to inflate away the debt. Okay, inflate it away. All right. We talked about earlier, the United States has done this a couple times. They did it when they revalued gold, when Roosevelt confiscated everybody's gold in 1933, and they basically default. I mean, you know, the all big argument, the United States did technically default on their debt, okay, at one point. I digress. But we've not had a major reset, okay? In the 1970s, right, the United States, you know, do you realize this? In the 1970s, this thing, the paper, because we were off the gold standard. Remember, Nixon took us off this thing lost 75% of its purchasing power in the 1970s. That's gonna happen again. It's impossible for it not to happen. We're in worse shape than we were in the 1970s. I'm sorry, I'm getting very excited about this. People don't realize we are in worse shape fiscally, right? The debt, all that stuff, right? We looked at that already. We're in worse shape monetarily. The Fed can't do, the Fed's been neutered. Basically, the Fed's not quite as powerful as it used to be, right? And on top of that, we are in worse shape geopolitically. The world is revolting against the United States. There's a BRICS conference going on right now in Russia, right? We're getting all kinds of news coming out from this thing. And all of it is centered toward, we want to move away from the Western dominated, United States dominated monetary system because we're tired of getting bullied. That's what they're saying, right? Hey, I live here. Don't forget, guys. Okay, look, right? I invested heavily. I love this country and a self-waving American flag, right? But that's the reality of what is happening right now. Okay, let's talk about, you want some good news? Oh, Bank of America just informed us of something very interesting. Bank of America, where is it? Hold on here. Did I miss something? Okay, here we go. Let's go to this one first. We got, this is, are you ready? Example. All right, let me go back. If you live in the United States of America, I can tell you two things for sure. Okay. 99% of the people that live in this country have no clue about what's going on. Fiscally in our country, geopolitically, they're even more clueless, right? Ask them about bricks, and they're going to say, well, my house is built out of white bricks, or my house is built out of red bricks. They have no clue. And the U.S. economy is in big, big trouble right now. I know people that have got laid off from big four accounting and consulting firms, like the big four, whatever they are, Deloitte. I used to work for Deloitte, Price Waterhouse, those places. I know a guy that's in the construction supply business, lighting. He said it's slower than I've ever seen. I know one of our commenters I read last night works in like the steel fabrication business. He's like, they're laying people off and things are slower. Everywhere we look, we get example after example. Be prepared, because we're in a horrible financial shape and the economy is slowing down. Listen to what Bank of America. This is a great example of just how screwed up things have gotten in this country. Where is it? Here it is. No, I do not want to buy that. Thank you for offering. 20% of households making over $150,000 live paycheck to paycheck. Okay, let's see if I can get this to pull up full screen, which I can. The share of households living paycheck to paycheck is highest for lower income households. So this shows these are people making under 50,000. These are people making over 150,000. Okay. Obviously people making under 50,000, there's a higher percentage. There's the percentage of people on the left-hand side that are living paycheck to paycheck, almost 30. Now, these are the years. Blues, 2019, red, 2023, yellow, 2024. Do you see year after year, more and more people in all of these different income brackets are reporting that they're living paycheck to paycheck? But even at the $150,000, the high income earners, okay, they continue to show that what does that tell us? Oh boy, how do I get out of here? Hold on. Oh, I know what I do. There we go. There's always a way. I tell you what. Now, if we go down here and look at this chart, okay, in Q3 2024, almost half of the respondents perceived themselves as living paycheck to paycheck. Okay, here was the question. Imagine I'm asking you this question. Please indicate how strongly you agree or disagree with each of the following statements about your personal financial situation. Quote, I'm asking you this question. I am living paycheck to paycheck. Okay, this is starting in 2022. These are people in blue who strongly agree, and in red, it adds on the people that say they somewhat agree. Do you see the upward trajectory? Let's get the crayons out. And we're going to do green again, because green is the color of the day. All right. Do you see this? Right? That's not good. Hold on here. I always want to do my best for you guys. There we go. A straight line. Do you see that? Right? More and more people are reporting that they're living paycheck to paycheck. Are you living paycheck to paycheck? Susie and I have never lived paycheck to paycheck, right? I hate debt. If you're in debt, get out of debt. I've always hated debt. I have a degree in accounting. I worked for a big four accounting firm. I understand money. Okay. Just like a musician understands how to read music sheets, I understand how to read financial statements. I'm telling you guys that I don't preach often. I don't give financial advice, but undoubtedly, mathematically, to the extent that you can minimize debt, the more free you will be as a human being, and the more free and happy you will feel without that stress, and you will have a chance to get ahead. Hold on here. I'm getting emergency text coming through. Okay, 40 more thumbs up. Susie, till what? 300? Guys, we need 40 more thumbs up. Now, this is where it gets interesting. I've got the funniest thing. You ready for a smile? Because we're going to have the funniest thing you've ever seen coming up here in 1 second. Okay. Okay. All right, here we go. Let's go to Apple. Let's go to see. This came from our friend Don. Hold on here. These are my favorite memes. This is not it. That's the US currency. Okay, Silver Express. Thank you, Susie. And that's how anyway, those are the historic. That's not it. That's you leaving the coin shop before they realized that you gave them paper for silver. That's Pippi the Silver Cat. That's from yesterday. There it is. All right, guys, this is funny. This is America right now. This guy is asking Siri, with your current account balance, which Apple product can you buy? And the answer that came back was apple juice. I mean, isn't it true? That's what, the American people are running out of money. It's sad. My kids, I'm an Android guy. I think Apple stuff is way overpriced. Okay. I have nothing against you if you use Apple products. I know they're awesome. My kids demanded that they get Apple iPhones for Christmas, and they're great kids. And so I buy used from Amazon Renewed. I've told you that, guys, that many times. But Apple stuff is expensive, very expensive. But I'm a tightwad. That's another way you can get wealthier in life. Be a tightwad, or be what I like to call resourceful. Okay, find ways. Use coupons. I rarely go out to eat when I'm not using a Groupon or a coupon. I remember I had ended before I got so lucky to get married to Susie. I was in another relationship, and one of the last things she said to me, I'll never forget this. I think it was the last thing she said to me was, and you always had to use a coupon when we went out to eat. And I was like, you know what? Good riddance. Who cares? I'd rather go out to eat twice with the same amount of money than double pay what I have to pay. I love coupons. Susie and I just used one the other day that still bugs me. Now, I've shared this with you, and I love Susie, and I've loosened up a little bit on this, but it used to really bug me when I'd go out to eat and people would buy those $3 sodas, because I'm like, what a ripoff. You can buy a whole 2-liter bottle. Don't even get me started on going to Starbucks every day. I apologize. All right, let's go to, we're going to do one more check on the silver and go, I got to ring oh man. I told you we had a special guest here today, right? Remember, that's you. So thank you guys for being here. Thank you for the super chats. Thank you for being here, right? This is cool, man. We got the basement dweller community. We're going to I don't care what happens to silver today or gold. Okay, thank you, Susie. I'm going to do the train whistle in a second, but we're going to have higher prices. Okay, listen, but watch this. One more thing to show you, and then we'll do the train whistle. Okay, this came from my friend Mark S. This is from Market Watch. Okay. Oh, man, I can't even pull up any of it now. What the heck? Hold on. Let's refresh it. Okay, silver. Here we go. Quickly, because it's going to take me away. Silver's scarcity factor is helping it catch up to gold's record run. Silver prices may top $40 an ounce before the year's end. Okay, and then it's gone. What I wanted to point there is why that was important is that's Market Watch, where they want you to pay, I don't know, $100 a year, $200 a year. Bloomberg, we looked at that yesterday. These big CNN Pro, or I'm sorry, CNBC Pro, right? They're all starting to run articles about silver. Okay, get ready, guys. Get ready. Remember, 32.50. I need to blow the train whistle because we did get 400 thumbs up. We do 3 long blows of the train whistle because that is the, I'll show you guys right on the train whistle. See that? That gives you all the different whistles and what they mean. And 3 long blows, 3 long blows is for, I need to switch the audio so you guys can hear this. Okay. The Silver Express leaving the station. Welcome aboard, basement dwellers. Welcome aboard the Silver Express. Right now, we're at the $32.50 station. Next station, right? It might be a couple hours or a couple days away, but the next station is going to be like the $38 silver, $39. So welcome aboard the Silver Express. Okay, let's go check on the silver price. See how bad it's gotten. Don't worry. Be happy. Don't worry. Let's press the Pimbex magic button, and we're down 7 cents. $33.61. Remember, that can go to 32. Gold price is up almost $13. $2,782, $2,728. You know what? While we're out here, I'm going to go look. I've kind of fallen in love. What's your favorite silver coin? Let me ask you guys. Put it in the comment section. I love American Silver Eagles. I don't love the high premium on American Silver Eagles. They're usually $2 or $3 more than you can get Australian Kangaroos, UK Britannias, or what has really been one of my favorite coins. Let me open this up. I keep a little bit of silver here at the house. Let me open. See, I can never get. Oh, there it is. Woo! Man, I hurt my hand. This, my friends. See if I can do this without making a big mistake. Now, my great-grandpa was from South Africa. He fought in the Boer War, which was fought over gold. My great-grandpa fought, he was a cavalryman, and he fought in the Boer. Read about the Boer War, BOER, in South Africa. It was fought over gold. It was the Dutch versus the British, and the Dutch whooped the British rear, and they were outnumbered like 100-1. So anyway, I feel a little bit, look at that. Look at that. I'm doing some magic here. This is kind of my latest. It always has been one of my favorite, but that's a Krugerrand from South Africa. There it is. Look at that. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? Isn't silver just beautiful? So I want to go out and look. Sometimes Pimbex, I hope I'm not sticking my foot in my mouth here, but sometimes Pimbex has Krugerrands. The other coin that I love is this, the 2023, hold on here, Britannia. Wait till you see this thing. I'm going to take it out with King Charles. And everybody says, oh, King Charles, they took the queen off. They took the queen off, blah, blah, blah. I love this thing. And one of the reasons why I love it so well is because everybody else hates it. Okay. And the backside of the Britannia, look at that. Isn't that beautiful? Come on, focus. Dang, I'm gonna have to spend more than $15 on a webcam. But let's just for fun go out and see. It's unbelievable. Okay, why is this important that we do this? Because we don't realize still in the United States how lucky we are that we can buy silver so darn close to the spot price. Okay, right now we're at 33.61. Let's go ahead, probably down. Come on, down 9 cents, 33.59. But I just want to go out and look. Here's Krugerrands, what they have in terms of Krugerrands. Hopefully they have some. Yeah, these are random years, so these aren't going to be guaranteed to be brilliant uncirculated. But you can get Krugerrands still for $36. What is that? $35.93, about $2.50 over spot price. I mean, that is crazy. And let's go look at the Britannia that we just looked at. Here we go. 2023. That's the one I just showed you. Great Britain silver, Britannia, brilliant uncirculated. Okay. $35.68. What? That's $2.08 over spot for a brilliant uncirculated coin. And I'm telling you, look, don't buy anything or make any decisions based on anything I'm saying, but I'm telling you, this coin, and that's the one we just looked at, people kind of hated it. They got rid of the queen. And I think for half the year, they had the king on there, King Charles. Okay. And I know I'm probably like the queen. There we go. Oh, there we go. Now we're focused. Hold on. Look at that. Okay. I think those are going to be worth something someday. I could be wrong. Okay. But I got a real knack for buying things when they're very a good value that go up in value. All right. So we'll see what happens. Did I forget anything? Hey, thank you guys, all 1,000 people. Look, the community is growing. Why is that important? Let's take last big major point. There's a reason why, right? It's not my good looks. It's not my dynamic personality. Right? I really put a lot of work in to help give you guys whatever information that I see is important, and you can go to other sources. But why is it so important that we have so many people joining us now in the basement? Because that's more people. Remember what we talked about earlier? 0.5% of the financial assets are invested into precious metals oriented investments. The more and more people and the number of views on YouTube, not just me, but the silver and gold sector is going up and up and up. That means we have more brothers and sisters that are getting interested in silver and gold. Thank you for being my special guest today here in the basement. Okay, have a great day, guys, and I'll see you soon. Thank you, and thank you.